You spent more than a decade building and running a very successful chain of salons and beauty bars.
I'm still selling beauty. I'm just selling beautiful spaces. That's all.
Star cast member on Owning Manhattan. Major success.
Overnight, I was introduced to anyone in my community that didn't know me. And in addition to that, to the world.
You were recognized as Rookie of the Year.
Brand reputation is super, super key. And just staying abreast of what's hot and what's next and like just staying advanced with technology.
You were recruited by Ryan Serhant to join his new brokerage, Serhant.
At the end of the meeting, he's like, what do you think it would take for you to really feel like this is your home? And I'm like, I'm just really looking for someone to be my Lil Wayne into my Drake.
Your online presence is refreshingly authentic.
I'm sharing me. And if people like me and gravitate towards me, then they rock with me no matter what I'm doing.
Tricia Lee, last I saw you, we were in Brooklyn filming an incredible A-list series. I just wanted to say that you absolutely killed it.
Oh.
You are so amazing on camera. You're such an eloquent speaker, so knowledgeable. And we knew this, but to see you in action was just so awesome. Have you always had this aura and ability to just command the camera?
I've never felt uncomfortable on the camera. I'll say that. So as long as I'm doing what I would do without the camera, then I'm really comfortable. And so I guess if something is being asked of me that's not my everyday work, that would probably be different. But I've never been uncomfortable in front of the camera, and I've never been uncomfortable public speaking in any way. Like I've always just psyched myself out of getting too overwhelmed with it. Like I think I'm really good at that, and it's just like they're just like me, and they're all going to go home and be naked in a minute.
Exactly. No, it shows like you haven't figured out. There are so many people that get in front of the camera and just freeze up. They can't act like themselves, but you really are so natural, so authentic. You do an awesome job, and it shows on all the content you do, all the shows that you're on, and we'll surely touch on that in a moment. But let's start from more the beginning. You're a proud Brooklyn resident.
Very proud.
You spent more than a decade building and running a very successful chain of salons and beauty bars. Can you tell us the story behind that transition from beauty business owner to real estate agent? What inspired you to make that shift?
Real estate was really the inspiration. It's really two-part. I have a best friend that is, her whole family is real estate. And so I was always in beauty and she was always in real estate, developing, flipping properties, very much a Clinton Hill landlord, which is a downtown neighborhood here in Brooklyn. So it's always been around me, definitely. Like in college, I had like a 6-month stint renting apartments, and I wasn't even supposed to be renting them. I was actually supposed to be answering the phones. But the leasing agent had to do like a bed rest for her maternity leave. So they were just like, they were short on staff, and they ended up just throwing me keys and sending me out to show the apartments. And I loved it. And so when I got into beauty, that was just my natural interest in what I love to do. And owning my own business was the next natural step for sure. But you're in these commercial spaces and you're observing the neighborhoods as they change and shift. You're a part of the change and the shift, and you're growing, and you're a huge contribution to the neighborhood. But that's really the beginning of when you first start paying attention to real estate, I think, because everything that's happening in these communities impacts your business. Like the shift in the demographic, it can change your business. I had one location that was between two colleges. And so I had like a very young demo, and I had people that spent a lot of time on their beauty and their nails. And, they went out every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, So I think real estate was already happening around me so much. It was just something I had never considered for myself.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Well, I think I read in your rookie year, you broke sales records. You were recognized as Rookie of the Year. Do you think you were able to translate some of those entrepreneurial skills into real estate? What were those?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think like when you're an entrepreneur, you just take control of everything. You take responsibility, more importantly, for everything. And so it is, you have to put on your accounting hat sometimes. You have to put on your management hat sometimes, your HR hat sometimes, your marketing hat sometimes. Like there's no one to service if I'm not doing a great job of driving traffic into this business. There is no business if I can't put it in the right location where it's going to see the right amount of traffic and it's going to get the right level of support. So a lot of it is The same, honestly. When I got into real estate, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this like compared to running a beauty business?" And I was like, "It's actually easier." Because my beauty businesses, I also had like a massive staff, and I had a much bigger client body. Now if I have 20 clients, that's a lot of clients. We used to see 80 clients a day. And those are 80 people that you want to really walk away from their experience with you happy. So it is very similar, even though people would be like, what does one have to do with the other? It's all the same. You're marketing yourself. You are working on leads always as a business owner. Brand reputation is super, super key. And just staying abreast of what's hot and what's next, and like just staying advanced with technology and how it can make your job easier for you. It's really, I always say, I'm still selling beauty. I'm just selling beautiful spaces. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think agents get enough credit for their entrepreneurial spirit, because you're so right. Like, agents are wearing so many different hats every single day. You're the CMO, you're the CEO. Yeah.
They really do. Like there are days I come home and I'm like, it was a bit too much today. The hat is heavy today because it's everything. At 12:15 I'm a contractor. At 12:30 I'm a therapist. At 12:45 I'm doing tours. 1 o'clock I am filming a video. 3 o'clock I'm filming a show. 5 o'clock I'm doing a tour of a property, and 6 o'clock I'm doing an appraisal. So it's all of those different headspaces that you have to be in and be super effective in each and every character role that you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I always say, my 4 o'clock doesn't care about my 6 o'clock.
100%. And there's always something to be done. Even when you have a 20-minute breather at midnight, you could always be doing something to progress your business. So it's just nonstop.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to, I believe it was 2021, when you were recruited by Ryan Serhant to join his new brokerage, Serhant. How did that connection come about?
I think I started on social. I've always tried to do my own thing when it comes to like how I market myself and my business and my clients' properties. And I always knew who he was. I always knew what he was. I always knew how he did what he did. And I was always really impressed with him, but we just were not in the same world at all. And I don't watch reality TV. So I just I didn't know anything. Strangely, my friend that's in real estate, my best friend, she is probably one of his biggest fans. If my mom isn't, then she would be. And so I only had positive, impressions of him, but I didn't know anything about him at all. And I think it just started on social, and he was recruiting. I remember he was working out of a WeWork space when we met, because I remember him having a lunchbox, and I met him in a kitchen or something like that. And then it was well, we have this room and this room. I don't even know if they had 15 agents at that time. We were small. And that week I just happened to carve out a whole bunch of time to basically meet with all of the prestige firms at that point. And I figured if he did something, it was going to be prestige. I figured it would be have a luxury angle to it. So he was one of just 5 interviews that I did that week. I thought nothing more of it, honestly. I was just kind of testing the waters when I met with him. And then I met him, and then he was so quirky and so smart. So smart. And I didn't expect that. I didn't know what I expected, but I didn't expect him to be so smart. And he was very kind, and very he doesn't take all the air out of the room, So I remember the meeting. I was that was it was nice. Anybody could really have a nice interaction with him, I think, that's been my experience consistently from the day that I met him, which is, I don't even know, 3.5, 4 years ago. And I just knew that he was this big personality. I just was okay, he's kind of all over the place. And I felt in a lot of ways I am too. And so at the end of the meeting, he's what do you think it would take for you to really feel like this is your home? And I'm I'm just really looking for someone to be my Lil Wayne to my Drake. I was and he's he just looked at me, and I was well, see, this is what it is. And I'm and then I go on explaining to him how Lil Wayne brought us Drake. But nobody knows and nobody cares. Not even Lil Wayne cares, because Drake is just here, and he's just this big mega star in his own right. And then Lil Wayne will always be that big mega star in his own right. And most people don't even connect them, but yet they're still these mega stars. And I was trying to, in a very short way, explain to him that that's what I needed. That's what a brokerage could offer me, because I really felt that I would do well anywhere. And I felt that they all had each had a unique point of difference that they could offer me. But it was, if you're asking me what I need, then I need somebody that can really be a bright, shining star and allow another star to shine as well. And his answer immediately was like, well, who would I be in this situation again? And I was like, that's it. He's the one I want to work with. Like, because he doesn't care what role he has to play. He just wants to know from me, do you need me to be Lil Wayne in this situation, or do you need me to be Drake? And that was the beginning of it. I was like, he's the one. He answered the question right. Like, whatever you need me to be is what I can be for you to help you be successful. And that's what I took from it. And it was just, everything else to me was all the same.
I love that. That analogy is so awesome. I am like a rap nerd, so that just really hits home, and a big fan of Lil Wayne. But yeah, that's
and I am not the biggest rap nerd. I mean, like Jeff says I should be ashamed of myself, but I am the biggest Drake fan.
Oh, okay.
Even now and still.
Good. You're sticking by his side. That's loyalty.
I am not fair weather. So yeah, it was just like, and I'm that comfortable in interviews as well, because it's like you don't get to hire half of me, you hire all of me, which is the personality as well, and you better figure out how to digest it early on, otherwise we're never going to have success. So, a lot of people are like, how could you say that to your boss? And I'm like, I would say that to anybody. Like, can you let me shine, or do you need to be the only one shining? Because if I can't shine here, then I have to go where I can shine. I'm going to shine, so what do you take of it? And I just felt like he was just humble enough to say, whatever you need, man, like, let's just do this. And that's kind of always been his energy. He gets over things really quick and he's ready to move on to the next thing. Let's go. And it's taught me a lot about business and approaching business that way as well.
I love it. That's awesome. Can you recall like a piece of advice or feedback from Ryan that has just like stuck with you since you heard it?
There's a lot of them every day, but I think the one thing that I think that sticks with me and is most important, and is truly the reason why I thought that Serhant would be the right place for me, and it's not so business related actually at all, but I am extremely impressed with his ability to be so humble and so successful. Like, it is the strangest combination of humility and success, and immense success, and I think you have to work closer to him in the way that I do to really understand the breadth of his success, because people only see like parts of it, and I feel like I get to see the business, the personality, the brand, the training business, the motivational part of it, like how he impacts other agents, and then of course on a television show. So I see about 6 different versions of him, and I thought at the time that was something that I could use in my own personal growth and my own personal development, was the ability to really hone that skill of humility to a certain extent, because I'm not a big fan of humility, but to hone that skill and success in the sense that you always remained hungry and driven. And I think that's the force behind how he's able to work at the pace he's able to work. And I thought, like, if I was around that enough, some of it would land on me. That's what I thought. And that was a lot of the reasons why I wanted to work with him. Plus, I also really love being a part of something new when it starts, because the naysayers like to, wish you failure, and it's kind of nice and sweet for me to be the underdog. I mean, that's kind of a lot about what my career has been and what my experiences have been. And I just knew we were going to do so well as a brokerage, and I knew that we were going to be a very loud voice very quickly. So I was kind of excited to be a part of that. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's just like our little football team, and we don't have the most players and we don't have the biggest players, but we do our thing, and everyone is watching us, is how I feel.
Well, yeah, it's truly come into fruition. Been awesome to watch you guys grow. Absolutely killing it. So joined Serhant. Things are going great. Around this time, you also joined forces with your partner, Jeffrey, correct? Who comes from an entertainment background?
Yeah, so we had met in real estate, actually, and we'd been together at that point for years, but we'd never worked together. We'd rarely even been at the same brokerage. I like to say he flip flops a lot, but when I think I met him, he was at Corcoran. He left right away, went to Compass, and then I went wherever I would go, he would leave. That's just what kept happening. And the night before I was going to make my final, okay, this is my decision. I was going to make my announcement. I did an interview with The Real Deal about the joining the brokerage, and then I had cold feet that night, and I I had to talk to Ryan like at, I don't know, 10:30 at night. Like, I don't really know, I'm not sure, and I'm backpedaling. I'm backpedaling majorly, and Ryan's like, you know, I remember being on the phone and I was actually having this comment about him, and it's the craziest thing to have with your boss again. But I was like, you're a 6'5" white man. Like, what would you know about leading me in my career? I'm a black woman that can barely even touch 5'2". Like, I don't know that you would understand the struggles that I'm going to have in my business and the unique challenges that I have in order to build this business in New York and in luxury. And he was like, I don't know that I can either, but I can try. I can guarantee you that I'll always try. And I was like, okay. And so I got off the phone with him and I was like, okay, no more backpedaling. And mind you, it was decided already. Like, I had left my brokerage. The press release was going out in 4 hours. I don't know why I was going through this. And Jeff was like, I think I should join you. And I'm like, what? And I get off the phone and he's like, yeah, I think I should join you. He's like, we've always said we're going to work together. Maybe this is the time we should start working together. And I was like, I don't know. Things are going so well with us. You sure? And he was like, it wouldn't make sense for you to start there and then for me to come later and have to figure systems out. Like, it'd be kind of cool if we could support each other in figuring out this new back playground. And also, we had both been at Compass when it was a very new firm, so we knew what it was to deal with the growing pains of a new firm. We figured we should just be in that situation together. So it was a very last minute decision for him to come on board. And it worked out really well because although we had never worked together, we got to see who's really good at certain things, who likes and leans in heavier to certain things as well. And we just couldn't be more opposite. So it's like finding a partner that loves to do the things that you really don't love to do as much. And then I think he found that in me as well. And we had no idea because we had never interacted in a work environment together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so great. You guys complement each other so well. I know a few agents who are business partners, but also romantic partners, and it doesn't always seem easy. Mm-mm. How do you kind of shut off the real estate after a long day?
So I'm really strict with that. And he is not. So he's always sneaking around. He's always like going in the bathroom. He's like, we're on vacation and he's like, I'll be right back. And then he's in the men's room, like doing a business call. And I'm like, get out of the bathroom. Come out, He's always getting busted. Like, when we didn't live together, we had a rule like no working on Saturdays. And I would call the office at that firm and they'd be like, yeah, he's here. And I'm like, I know he is. I don't know why he's lying. I know he's at work. But I feel like since we've been living together for like the last 5 years, he has become more like me. And I've rubbed off on him a lot more. So we do have a hard stop around here. I mean, for the most part, we kind of like shut down work conversations around 7:30. It's understood by the time we have dinner. That's a wrap. It took time to get there, but I've always been very strict about it because I'm very much like, I work this hard to have a good life. My good life is the most important thing to me. I lead with that. I don't feel the need to be dishonest about that. I don't think it turns clients off. I want my clients to know that I want a good life. I want them to understand why I'm committed to good work. And I feel like for me, it was like I had to really influence him and not allow him to influence me. And I think that that's really what's happened. But he also, he drives me in a lot of ways too, because he's always wanting to work. So I feel like I have actually gotten more productive with my work days by watching the way he works. We're very different. I can overthink, overanalyze, overproduce, overcreate, overfix, overrepair, or try it again and do it again and change it. And what if it's this way? And he's not like that. He's very much like, let's go, check it off and move on. That's kind of fallen on me a little bit now. So I try to sometimes, you know, if it's done at 85 and 90%, it's done. Let's move on. Versus Tricia that wants it done at 105% and maybe gets 3 things done when she could have gotten 5 things done. So we just naturally, I hope I'm rubbing off on him, but I know he definitely rubs off on me. And I've picked up a lot of really good habits about just like time blocking and also just making sure that you have your list and you're so focused on your list. And if you get stuck on something, move on to the next thing and then come back to that thing. Don't just sit there and be stuck, you know. And I don't know where he gets that from, but it's definitely stuck with me. You know, it's really helped me to not take things so seriously and to just like move forward. And so many parts of our day can be resolved in that way if you allow it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So is it just you two, or are you starting to build out a team now?
It's us, and then we both have a junior agent, and then we have one assistant as well. You know, we are building out a team. It's one of those things. I want to do it slow and I want to do it right. You know, like I feel like I've always managed a lot of business. I've always had a really large book of business, and maybe my expectation is that everyone is like that. I don't know. But I don't feel the need to add a lot of bodies just because the business is growing. There's like, you know, 4 of us that can manage the business now. I think by the end of the year, we'll probably get to 6. But I'm not looking to have a 20-person team. I'm not looking to, that's not my goal. And then if it comes to that, then I definitely will do less units and higher volume. So the way I want to grow my business is to not necessarily be selling 60 houses a year, but to be selling 20 houses a year. So for that and so many other reasons, I don't feel the need to have a 15-person team. And I stepped away from that when I left beauty. So I've had that. I've had 3 locations and 22 staff. And if that's something that you need, or you want to figure that out or figure out that challenge, I've done that. And it's not my preference. So I'd rather keep us really small and mighty, you know, if I can. And I think I can, you know. I'm definitely being tested this season. Like I got a listing today and I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this one.
That's a good problem to have.
But I'm like, God, just let something go into contract so the number stays the same.
That's too funny. It sounds like you have a great plan. I love to hear that.
I think so.
Alrighty, let's chat about the show a little bit. A lot of people know you as star cast member on Owning Manhattan, which premiered over the summer in June. Major success. How has your role really like impacted your business?
Oh, it's been a wild ride. Like, so hard to explain. How it's impacted the business is I feel that overnight a lot of residents just got my resume. You know, like. That's the truth of it. They got my resume. They know who I am. They know what I've done. I still have to show up. I still have to talk the talk. I still have to show the results. I still have to, you know, back it all up. But I do feel that overnight I was introduced to anyone in my community that didn't know me. And in addition to that, to the world, you know? So I think that obviously the calls have increased, you know, the hiring has increased, the opportunities have increased. But it is a lot, and it's a lot of noise. And so through that noise, you're filtering out what's right for you, what's going to just fit into your world and help you and benefit you in the right way. And you're learning how to deal with the noise too. You know, that's a big part of it. You just wake up every day and you have tons of emails. And, you know, when you're dealing with a partner like Netflix, you forget that show is new to someone else every hour of every day. So to me, it was like a summer 2024 thing, but it's not. It's just not, you know, like there isn't a day I don't get an email from someone that has seen the show. And it's like, oh my God, I just binge watched this last night. I'm like, where have you been? But, you know, it's new to someone every day. So I feel like it's a really great opportunity to have like a lifelong resume out there for the world to see. And, you know, I feel that the first season, people really got to see me in my workspace and how I work. And I think maybe a little bit more in season 2, you'll get to understand my personality a little better. who I am as a person and like kind of what drives me as well. I think that that's exciting about season 2. So I think that at this point, the business is just, if it hasn't tripled, it's definitely doubled in the last 6 months.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you finding people reaching out to you in the hopes that you're going to maybe get them on camera or get their listings on camera? Are some people like against that, don't want their properties, to be highlighted on Netflix? What has that sort of been like navigating your clients, kind of preferences?
I think it's yes and it's no, because the people that you think would want to be on camera don't ever want to be on camera. And then the people that say they don't want to be on camera want to be on camera. I do think that there are definitely certain people that gravitate towards you, because the light, the camera, the attention, whatever is there for sure. That's a thing. There is a piece of it where you go to work every day with your colleagues, but then like if you do a show about your work and then you kind of become known for that work, now your colleagues could possibly also be your fans. Or they could not like you at all and they never even knew you. They just saw you on TV. So that's kind of weird. Like I've been at work and people are like, oh, let me go ahead and get a selfie. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Like, you move. like we're always here together. Like this is our thing. Move. I'm not going to take a selfie with you. That's ridiculous. But, I think it's like, it's not for them. It's like maybe their cousin or maybe their niece or whatever. So that's weird. Because I've always been with you in the office and this is what we do. So like, like if you went to the lunchroom right now at your office and someone's like, hey, like, come on, Aaron, let me get a selfie with you. And you're like, get out of here.
That's interesting.
So that's an interesting mix. And then, there are people at the office and in the firm that I've never known and I've never had a relationship with, but they feel that they've gotten to know me now that they saw me on camera. And so I've had so many, especially the women. I've had so many women pull me aside and just, say, thank you for how you demonstrate what we do. Thank you for showing us in a good light. Thank you for showing the work, the hard work, what it really takes to do this and how much we give it. And that was really, really consistent. And I just heard that every time I would go into an office or still whenever I'm in any type of professional setting. And it's just nice for me to know how women appreciate that. And for them to always feel the need to let me know, like, hey, thank you for showing us the way it really is and giving us like the credibility, that's probably been the best part. I feel like I've really been able to connect to women all over the country in that way. And it's wonderful, it's wonderful. And I just hope to keep doing a really good job with that because I only did this because I didn't see myself on TV. I didn't see a representation of myself. I didn't see people that were out here making it happen, working and not getting things thrown at them, like literally having to, I will tell anybody, I built my career from dust and I wanted to see that. I wanted to see what that was on TV. And so that's why I did this show. And I hope that, I just continue to inspire people to know that even if you're starting at zero, you can still do it.
Yeah, that's a great message. Very refreshing to hear. I'm curious about agents who are outside of your office. You're interacting during showings. Are they treating you any different?
Yeah, that's weird. I would say like 30% are like nicer and 70% are meaner. Maybe 75% are meaner. Yeah. That's been my experience. I don't know, but I'd let that all roll off of my back. Yeah. What I knew I wanted to do about this entire experience was to not let it control anything and for me to fully control it. So, I just laugh at it, honestly. It's just funny to me because I'm like, if it wasn't for the show, you would never have this much like attitude or like, you wouldn't be so difficult with me. And then, but there are other people that are much, they're much more accommodating with me too. So it's just one of those things. You just take it, you just take it and let it do what it does. I think that a lot of the people outside of the firm probably just have attitude towards the show as a whole and Serhant as a whole, and maybe even Ryan as a whole, but I don't believe it's hurt his career in any way. And so I know he hasn't lost any sleep over it and I don't intend to.
Yeah. For sure. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good outlook. Um,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about season two, which I know you're in the process of filming right now. What is going to be different in season two from one?
I think we really let our hair down this season. I mean, I know I do. If I don't like something, I say it. Not that anybody asked, but, but I think that we're also more comfortable with each other, and or not comfortable with each other, so people are more honest, I think, and um, we're busier this year. We shot in 23, which was like the worst real estate year ever. Definitely the worst year of my career. So here you think you have this challenge of like managing your career and managing your show, two very separate, equal full-time jobs. No, ma'am. Your real challenge will be trying to pull that off in 2024 when you're actually really, really busy. So I believe that tempers are short. I believe that people are more straightforward because we are stretched so thin right now. I mean, we've never been busier as a firm. We've never been busier as independent agents. And then we're better at filming and we've gotten our systems down, so we're filming more. And I've always filmed a lot in a lot of days. And so I think there's going to be a lot of growth this season because our businesses are changing and we are all trying to figure that out in front of the camera, you know? Um, and it's not easy. It's just not. And I think also we're so comfortable with the crew now. I speak for myself. I don't even remember they're there, because I've been with these people for 2 years now. Um, I think that it's going to be a lot more beautiful properties. It's going to be a lot more conflict, I think, this year. I do think it's a little bit more competition this year too, because now we're in a position where we're kind of going against each other for listings, and it's the public that's creating that, but it's the real deal, and so you're going to see a little bit more conflict between agents because it's truly happening. There are people that don't know if they want to hire me or Jess Taylor. They don't know, so they want both of us, and so the first year it's all cute and fun, but now like a lot of people are pitching against each other, and we're all more competitive than we are anything else. So if I'm going off of the energy I'm feeling, I think this season is going to be really, really interesting because the work and the life is so interesting right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I know a lot of people are on the edge of their seat. Do
Yeah,
we have a release date yet?
we don't, but I feel like our schedule is so similar to what it was in 23 and 24, like
Mhm.
what we did in 24, 25. Like we kind of started, I think we started a lot later because we don't have to film as long. Like the first year we filmed for like damn near a year.
Oh, wow.
I know I filmed for more than 11 months. Um, but how we are wrapping up the season is very similar to what it was last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if the show came out around the same time because we're on the same at this point we're on the same schedule as we were last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Unless it's like one of those things where like, oh, the people want more, then maybe they have to push it up a little bit. But which I understand, obviously too. But I think it is probably going to be a summer moment as well because we're gonna be done shooting pretty soon, like maybe another month or 2 months. We're gonna be done. Hmm.
Nice. Well, we're looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. I hope it's July 4th. I hope. I don't.
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
have any
cool.
say, but I hope it's July 4th. I like it when people are like either at home or on vacation, like they're
Right.
somewhere and they can like just watch it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Your online presence is refreshingly authentic, and you're doing a fantastic job at leveraging social media. I think you've got like 90,000 followers on Instagram alone. What advice would you give to agents regarding building a personal brand online that truly resonates with clients?
I think that the important part about building a personal brand online, and specifically social media, is like take it for what it is. It's social media, and you're on there for entertainment, and you're on there like, typically in a lighter mood. And so I think that you can utilize that to share a lot of who you are, what interests you, what you like, what your work is like, what your life is like. Um, in a very comfortable way, however that is for you. And I don't think it has to be anything that you overthink. I don't think it has to be anything that you chase trends or anything like that. I think it's just figuring out like, what do you want to share and how do you want to share it? Like I share a lot of my life. I don't even share a lot of my work on social. Um, I think my work is out there and I think it speaks for itself. You know, I'll incorporate a lot of the work into, I mean, I work a lot. So if I'm going to share my life, I'm going to share a lot of work, but I don't like, you know, I don't feel like everything I put up is a property or a interior, walkthrough or whatever. But I think it's just important to be authentic. And I think it's important to be, interesting, you know, in whatever way. And sometimes those are your hobbies. Sometimes those are your beliefs. Sometimes those are your practices, your disciplines. Sometimes it's your crazy dog, you know, you never know what people are going to gravitate to. I like to shop. That's my thing. I love pampering. That's my thing. And, I'm really into wellness as well. Like that's just something I share a lot of. I share my work. I share all the promotional stuff that I do around my work. So if I'm doing events, then I'll absolutely share that. And that's just all for my client benefit, to get the name of the property out there, to get the address out there, to interact with my coworkers, all those things. I just don't take social media that seriously. I don't know. Maybe I should, but I feel like if I made it a third job, it would just stress me out, and that's not what I want. I want to have fun on there, and I want to connect with people that I think I can build with, and build a business with, and build a community with. And I'm all about like women's empowerment, women's financial literacy, and just women just bossing up and doing their own thing and not waiting for anybody to do anything. And I find my community there, and I think that they find me, and it's all very natural and not overthought in any way, shape, or form, And I think that's why I still enjoy it, and I think that's a very important part too, is to keep it at a level to where you can still enjoy it, because then you'll want to post and you'll want to share, and share your life, share your vacations, share your, I tried to make a brookie the other day, and I don't know what that thing was, but I shared it, and I'm like, maybe next time. I cook a lot, I share that, and you connect with individuals about those things. My biggest transaction to date is still from sharing like the color choice I made in my kitchen, which was hunter green, and people were just like, wow, this was at a time where like everyone's kitchen was white or gray. And so that was a lot of conversations, private conversations. And can you show me when you like pick up your fixtures, and can you share when you pick the sink? And I did. And then I started those online relationships that led to leads, and it led to transactions. And, I sold a $4 million house because a woman and I loved the color green for our kitchens. It's like those are the things that connect people. I have people that are like talking to me about facials, but then when their sister's ready to sell their house, they recommend me to their sister. So I just know you because, you love the place I go to get a facial. And that's why I say it doesn't have to be your work, because a lot of it is what we have in common. If you study Pilates, I study Pilates. You love red nails, I love red nails. You think I have crazy manicures, and I do have a crazy manicure. And we talk about that, but then I'm top of mind for you. And then you are mentioning my name in places that I can't be. And that's how the business comes in. It doesn't necessarily have to be this listing, this price, asking X, Y, Z. It just doesn't have to be that. It's just, I'm sharing me. And if people like me and gravitate towards me, then they rock with me no matter what I'm doing. You know what I mean? If I was selling bagels tomorrow, they'd be buying my bagels, I think.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. Everything you just said was so valid. People will obviously resonate more with what they're familiar with rather than just sold, just listed. People want to know the real you, who you are. And that's truly how you build genuine connections,
Yeah,
I think
for
you
sure.
do such a great job.
And I think it can be very easy if you let it,
100%.
If you let it authentically happen and be, like whatever that is. I've never had a social media calendar. I've never had a plan. I'm not doing all that. Like, no, I'm going to share you some highlights from this week. And then there are weeks when I don't feel like posting and I don't feel like going on social media and I'm really busy and I don't. And I might just drop a whole carousel at the end of the week and show some highlights from my week. And even that is interesting because I'm busy doing really great work with really great people. So I'll share that. I don't put any pressure on myself for it ever. I won't do it that way. I have to enjoy it. And I think it comes through in what I share because it's funny to me. I'm smiling when I'm putting my post together. I'm cracking up at myself and all the crazy things that I get to do and crazy people that I deal with and the crazy things I'm doing and them putting up with me, I want to keep it that way as long as I can, at least.
Totally. Yeah, that's also
Yeah.
such great advice. I think people
Yeah.
can learn a lot from that. What about technology that you use in your business? Any specific pieces of technology you just cannot live without right now?
Well, my phone in general is just like,
Yeah.
it's just it's such a tough relationship. But I would say, I mean, I have a lot of different apps that I use. I do a lot of video content for my properties, and not even stuff that necessarily gets posted online, but a lot of what I'm trying to do is drive traffic to my properties. So I'm definitely having to shoot some things just on my phone and being able to share it with clients and with their brokers. That doesn't go into an advertisement, but it really gives you an idea of like how a space is laid out or how a space works. So I have different apps that let me shoot video and store video and send video easier. I definitely am always on email. Anything that's task related or organizing a task is my absolute best friend. So I do really well with just really the task list on Outlook. But I have all of my tasks organized for every single day, and then I have a task with my assistant. I have a task list with my home, and with Jeff, and like things that need to get done. And then they have deadlines, and then they have alarms. And so when I wake up in the morning, I have an alarm going off for everything that needs to happen that day. I'm able to look at my phone and kind of know what I need to get done. And then throughout the day, I have constant reminders. So like if you and I have a 4 o'clock, I'm getting a reminder at 3:40 to be ready for our 4 o'clock. Every day I go to bed, I have my day planned for the next day. A lot of it is technology, but I'm also very old school. I love writing. I love to feel the pen to the paper, and I think it kind of cements things in my mind. But then in the morning, I take my planner, like an actual planner, and I put it into my phone. Um, I think my favorite app right now, strangely, I think is probably Facebook Ads Manager. But this is the reason why. It's because I'm able to pretty much have a beautiful digital ad running of every single property that I have and target it um, at the same time, pretty affordably. And so it's just another layer of promotion and marketing for everything that I'm doing. And it's really affordable. So if I don't hit you if I don't get you in print, and if I don't get you, with signage that's in the front of the properties, and if I'm not getting you in mailers, then I'm getting you on social, or I'm getting you where you go on different, in different ad spaces. So I think it's a vital tool. I think it's an important tool. I'm always on the app because I'm always monitoring the activity. I'm always watching the activity and how it flows through with the online algorithm, the traffic to my actual listings as well. I really pay a lot of attention to how my listings perform. Like if let's say, virtually stage a property and I'm like, this is kind of dud, I'll virtually stage it again. And I'll have two different ads running to see where the traffic is going. And then I'll be like, okay, so people resonate with this property more with the blue interior furniture. Let's go with that. And then I'll decide to go in that direction. So I'm always just trying to figure out what people are saying and how they're responding to what we're doing. I think it's really important. I think that's how technology really helps us, is it allows you to pivot really quickly when things are not working, or to go harder when things are working. You're not just out here just trying to figure it out. It's like, no, you can look at the analytics and tell. I was like, this morning I sent a client a report, and he's like, I think we could be doing more with marketing. And I was like, oh, interesting. Because in this last 6-month report, your property has 18 times the amount of activity it does as the other comparables. You have 18 times more people viewing your property than any other property like it on the market. And your views have doubled in the last 60 days. And then I'm like, your saves are 38% more than other like properties. And I'm like, and then your shares are like da da da. So by the time I was done, it was like, no, sir. The marketing is not the problem. Look at these stats, and that's the kind of stuff that I have stored in my head, because that's the kind of stuff I'm always looking at. So the apps that I'm using are kind of boring, but I find them to be really interesting because I can kind of talk the talk and walk it as well. It's like, no, actually, for compared to anything else, compared to other condos in Chelsea's, look at how you are performing. Like we're delivering 18 times over our peer in this category. So, and if it wasn't that, I would want to know that as well, so I can pivot and go harder. Right. So, I just love anything that is assessing how I am performing
Love it.
and allows me the freedom to do better, you know?
Yeah, no, that's super valuable insight. Thank you for sharing that. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here, definitely want to touch on your site. You recently launched a new site with
My
luxury
site is the
fashion.
best site.
Yeah, talk me through some of the features you're really excited about.
I love my site. So, first of all, it is like, it's gorgeous. It's just glamorous. Like, I think it's just a great site. I feel like, you know, I always say, like, if I did it myself, that's how it would look. But then I feel like I did it myself because I was so involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, no, of course I didn't do it myself. I don't have that skill set. Like, get out of here. But if I did have that skill set, that's how I would have done it, because I had such a say in like how it feels and how it looks and how it functions. You know, I didn't want it to have too much. I wanted it to just have what was important. I wanted it to have the inventory. I wanted it to have listings. I wanted people to be able to go onto my site, figure out who I am, who my team is, what we've got going on, but to stay to, you know, search properties. Like, everyone I know is addicted to real estate porn. Like, they're all online every night, like looking at houses. Even I've started doing it. Like, I'm looking at houses upstate. I'm not moving upstate. I'm not going anywhere where there's not a train. But I find myself picking out homes, and you know, I love that people can stay on my website and do that as well. I think the website is, it looks very much editorial. Like, you would think it was a magazine more than a real estate website. That's super intentional. That's how I live my life. That's how I think. Like, I think my first real estate photo was in my closet with like my shoe rack behind me. Like, me sitting at my desk, and I had like my shoes, or I think my handbags or something like that were behind me. And I remember someone being like, is this a fashion photo or a real estate photo? I'm like, both. Like, it's absolutely both, you know? I love that my website exudes that as well. But of course, you can go on there and you can see our listings. Of course, you can go on there and contact us immediately. You can see our latest press. You can see our coming soons, more importantly, you know? I have a mixture of business now. I'm dealing with commercial. I'm dealing with Manhattan. I'm dealing with Brooklyn, and so my site is not limited. Everything is on there, and anything that you're interested in, you can find. I just think I just am so pleased with it and so proud of it. You know, I think I've got to be like the loudest voice about it, because I was like, if you've been to my website, you got to go to my website. It's like, it's so good. I'm actually having lip balms made. Like, I used to have these sold by Tricia Lee lip balms, so I'm having new ones made to match my website. And I call these business balms. So they have my phone number, they have my website on them. So instead of a business card, I give out a business balm.
That is so creative. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah, definitely. At my open houses, I'll have them in a bowl, and I'm like, take a business balm, and they're like, what? And I'm like, honey, we all have chapped lips, and everybody needs my phone number.
Where did you get that from? Is that something you created yourself or inspiration
Yeah,
from
I had
someone?
this company do it, and it's also actually these are honey organic lip balms. They're really nice. They're actually very hydrating. And then I had a company do it. It's basically just like all of my contact information on there. And you know, I've never had a business card actually. So when I decided to do cards, this is what I decided to do. But I don't know why I don't have a business card. I need to unpack that. But I just I've never had one.
Hey, I think that works. Look, people forget business cards all the time. Those get lost in cars and wallets. No one's gonna forget you from a lip balm. That's
I
fully
mean, I don't think
customized.
so.
That
But
matches your website.
I also feel like, you know, I've owned the name TriciaLee.com for like 17 years. And so I'm like, I don't need a business card. Just look my name up.
Yeah.
You'll find me.
Yeah. No,
You
totally.
know? I think if you have a website and your website is great, I don't know that you need a business card. And I hope to be so loud and so ever present that I don't need a business card. You just know who I am when you're meeting me. That's the goal.
Love it. Tricia,
Yeah.
you're so awesome. This conversation has been phenomenal. So many great insights. Lastly, what's next on the horizon for you? I know you're shooting season 2, but any other exciting projects or goals you're working toward that you want to share with our audience?
Mm. What am I working towards right now? I think I'm just trying to get through season 2 and work. I have a lot of new clients. I have a lot of new business. As much as I have active, I have coming in also in Q1. So I'm doing more business in Q1 than I think most teams do in a year. So I don't know that I can fit more in than that. I think I'm just so busy with that. You know, I've actually been saying no to a lot of opportunities because I want to really do well with that. I like to do one thing good at a time, like just really kill it and then move on. I've gotten better with filming, and I've gotten better with that management of that schedule as well. And that feels kind of good to kind of have my rhythm there. And I hope what's next is to catch my breath, because it's been about 2 years, 2.5 years of filming a show, promoting a show, working, building the business, filming a show, working, promote, you know. And so as soon as I'm done filming the show, I'm going to be starting to promote the show. So once the show comes out and I catch my breath towards the middle or end of the summer, that's what I'm really excited about, because that'll be the first time I'll be catching my breath in over 2 years, you know, because it's been just extremely consistent. It's been, you put one thing down just to pick something else up. So I hope the next thing that I'm excited about is a break, just some sort of a little break in there. And I think in that gap, I'll probably find something else to keep myself busy with. But I'm looking forward to that, because I think the last years has been quite a whirlwind, you know. I think I have my footing now, though, and I definitely feel more rooted in all parts of it. And I think it'll be nice to, I don't know, maybe take like a 2-week vacation and like unplug or something. I think that'd be really cool.
You deserve it. You
Yeah.
deserve it. I hope you do that. Well, Tricia, thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights with us. I know our audience will take away a lot from this conversation. To everyone listening or watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can find Tricia's website and links to all of her social channels in the description below. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Presence Podcast.